Hi everyone, I'm Varun Venkit from Taal Inc. and this is the final session of the vlog series that Aman has been hosting. And the reason I'm hosting this now is because I will be interviewing Aman and talking about what he has to offer and what he's been brewing in this time that we've had because of the global pandemic. So without any further ado, let's welcome Aman Joshi, drum circle facilitator at Taal Inc.
Hi Varun, how are you?
How are you? Great. So when I did the introduction, I told them how Aman had been kidnapped, and so another bearded ponytailed man had to start this vlog series. But anyway, welcome to the final series of our mini vlog series about what we've been up to during this global pandemic, what's new, what we have been thinking of, what we're offering to various people. So thanks for doing
It's good to be on the other side of the table.
I can imagine. Yeah, what fun. Great. All right. So Aman's a drum circle facilitator at Taal Inc. Apart from being self-designed learner, as he says. He studied at the Swaraj University, and he's been a filmmaker. So he's dabbled with a lot of things and brings with him very unique ideas and his very unique USPs during sessions. We'll talk about that, so you'll know what I'm saying. One of the sessions that he's offered is something called, pre-pandemic of course, something called Digital Detox. This was under our Find Your Inner Rhythm series of sessions. And I find that all of this is so much more relevant today. So I'm going to let Aman tell us about what's been going on in this field for you.
Great, yeah. So talking about Find Your Inner Rhythm and Digital Detox, the concept has been there in my mind for a very long time. And the three main pillars of the Digital Detox session was basically three types of connections that I felt we need to reclaim. The first one was the connection with nature around us. The second one was the connection with our fellow human beings. And the third and most important one was the connection with the self.
Yep.
So the program Digital Detox was designed around all of this. And I personally felt, so not really claiming anything here, but I felt that one of the biggest barriers that we have now in between those connections is technology.
Yeah.
While technology does really have its merits and does really great for us, but sometimes I felt that overindulgence actually keeps us away from things that matter, and basically the connections are compromised a little. So I thought about designing that hence Digital Detox, that there will be no say gadgets used in the session.
Right.
And connecting that with the pandemic. So again, in pandemic, I'm sure all of us at some point felt a little lonely because we were suddenly separated by our friends, relatives, and we were just put in our own houses. So no matter how much we love our houses, but we need people, we need friends to have a good time with. So I realized the importance of that even more in the pandemic, and when I felt the need to connect with my fellow beings, to go out in the nature and just sit under a tree, and also with me, because I thought that these are all interconnected. If you're not connected with the nature, if you're not connected with your fellow human beings, it's difficult to be connected with yourself as well.
So true.
So we thought that why not offer something on the similar lines on a digital medium, which was everything was happening digitally. So we tweaked it a little and basically curated a little online workshop, which also works around reclaiming connections.
Wonderful,
so
wonderful. Because it's ironic, right? I mean, digital detox means no screens, no gadgets. But right now, in a world, post-COVID, how does one imagine a world without screens? We've sort of all had to compromise on this one principle, I guess.
And that was going to be a part of the session. That is a part of the session where we address the ironic nature of the program.
Exactly. Wow.
But it comes together in the end. Yeah.
Right, it does. And another thing I know that's really, that you're well known for, in fact, is storytelling. And this is something that's very close to you. So I know that you've been working on that, and you already, offer and bring a very unique delivery of characters and stories in your drum circle. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, stories always fascinated me. And the reason why I felt fascinated towards stories was as a child, I wanted to be 100 different things. Like, one day I wanted to be an actor, the other day I wanted to be a scientist. And I found stories to be the only place where I could live all of those characters without the real life responsibilities of it.
Nice.
So that's why I got quite fascinated towards stories, and then the filmmaking journey also basically exposed me to the stories of the world. So that fascination grew, and I believe that anything that you learn, anything that you do, it basically comes together in everything that you do. So similarly, like when I do drum circles, so that story angle definitely comes there. And I'll just give you a little example how stories work basically, and how it helps us associate and remember things in a much better way. So if I told you a story that I was walking in my society and I saw a dog, it passed by, and then we just said hi to each other, and I came back home and I slept. You won't probably remember it for more than a day. But if I tell you the same story that I was walking in my society, I saw a dog, it had wings, it basically elevated itself, and it said hi, and then we slept. So you will remember that detail for a very, very long time, that the dog had wings. So stories allow us to do that. Stories basically allow us to transcend that barrier of logic, of trying to make sense with everything, and it helps our imagination fly.
Right.
So I thought, what better way to bring people together than drumming with all of them, making them drum, and also using story as a thread to basically tie in everything together. So that's where the whole storytelling angle in the drum circles came to be.
Beautiful, because to experience people, just in rapt attention, that is already such a beautiful thing. And like you rightly pointed out, you remember more, so therefore the takeaway of the session is going to stick more with the audience.
Definitely.
And speaking of takeaways, I mean, we realize that in a corporate session especially, a client is always looking for something new, and how their requirement or their objective or their learning takeaway can be customized into our sessions. Stories being one of the same methodologies of delivery. What else have you thought of, experimented with, explored in terms of customizing corporate sessions, whether they're one-off or ongoing?
Right. So again, like you said, it is connected. The stories and the customization angles definitely here is connected. And talking about brands, all of the brands also have their own story, have their own unique story, origin story, then how it comes to be, and then the purpose. All of that has stories, and the organizations are always striving to communicate that story within their team and also to their customers as well. So story does play an angle there, but again, I'll continue the same example. So here, what we do in the sessions, in the drum circle sessions, is that the usual drumming definitely happens, the debrief definitely happens, but when you customize it with their own personal journey, it makes a much bigger, much deeper impact. So to give you an example again, have you ever had a dog?
Yeah, for a short while, yeah.
And what was his or her name?
His name was Donnie.
Donnie. So if I tell you that the dog who met me and he had wings, his name was Donnie.
Yeah.
So it will strike a chord, and then you will remember it for even a longer period. And now you have a personal relationship with the dog. So when you have a personal relationship with that dog in the story, I don't think you'll be able to forget that ever. So that is what we try to do in the drum circles also, that I do, and where I use stories, that I try to weave the story and the characters of that story and the situations of the story become the characters that are in the drum circle or that organization's purpose and this organization's story. And when that happens, it creates an amalgamation of something that everyone in that session remembers. So that's where I think customization plays a very important role.
It definitely builds impact. Of course, I've seen this happen. So it definitely builds a lot of impact. I remember one where you had this beautiful Bollywood-esque story I mean, before running through the session, that was pure genius.
It was Malgudi. I kind of introduced Malgudi days and guide and the movie guide and all of that basically came together. It was quite a fun session for me.
Right,
also,
right. So there, like you said, I think the important thing is just to know. I mean, to reinstate the intent of the session, which using something so strong as a story or Bollywood or something we already have an emotional connection with. I think that's the key right there. Superb. Wow.
Definitely.
Great, Aman.
Yeah.
This is superb. I mean, these are the three main things that I wanted to talk about today, and I think reach out to everyone saying that the team at Taal Inc is has been like on hyperdrive in terms of creativity, and we're raring to go, of course, to be a part of the learning journeys and the celebrations of any group, whether it's a wedding, a company, or a school, an educational institution.
Definitely.
They've spoken about
like anything.
Aman's spoken to all the facilitators, talking about all the measures we're taking to follow the COVID compliance regulations. So you can all be rest assured there. Please feel free to interact with us online. So we're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and our website is taalinc.net. We've got all things rhythm. And finally, I'd like to thank Aman for talking to all the facilitators, for bringing us this rich content week on week. So yeah, everyone, take care. Thanks a lot and all the best.
Bye-bye, everybody.